oil was already going to be a big source of uncertainty for us with the Iran sanctions and whether Saudi Arabia was going to be the balancing factor in pushing up their production. This hurts that dynamic even further. There was very strong reaction from the kingdom about if somebody takes a measure, they'll take stronger measures. How can that be constructive for the oil market? So we were going to head into November independent of this issue with concerns about oil. It just gets exacerbated now.
That's the concern around the oil market specifically, but there are a lot of emerging markets sitting right here in Southeast Asia. We think of India, Indonesia even, that are quite concerned about the direction of oil. Does this just add another troublesome point for them?
Absolutely, and particularly in the case of India, where there has been assurances by the Trump administration that whatever shortfall they face from not importing oil from Iran, Saudi Arabia will extend a helping hand. It's not that straightforward to begin with, given the kind of crude that Saudi Arabia exports versus the crude that Iran does. The refineries have issues with that. But independent of that, I think there is further uncertainty around the supply of that additional oil. I've always sort of had concerns about that, whether Saudi Arabia is really capable of increasing its daily output by 15%, which is needed to offset Iran's potential export decline.
And do you think at this stage we can take the assumption that they may not be able to play ball or not willing to play ball here then?
Well, I have always felt they may not be able to play ball, and now maybe there's some willingness-related uncertainty as well.
Interesting. Taimur, when I was speaking to Mario Draghi there in that press conference alongside those meetings in Bali, it was interesting because he started off kind of saying rates are our biggest risk that we discussed here. He, of course, talked about other concerns around emerging markets. He talked about Italy as well. But then at the end, he said, I just want to make a point that the geopolitical concerns that are out there. And there was so much discussion last week about the Fed and whether or not central bankers could be forcing the next recession, the next crisis, even if they had a misstep. But now I wonder, looking at everything else that's out there, if it's the politicians, the geopolitical front investors really have to worry about.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in terms of the Fed, surely we know what they're trying to do and what they're going to do in the coming year or so. They'll keep on hiking till they have growth and inflation under much more control than what they fear it is now. Surely the ECB will end taper and head toward normalization in 2019-20, and surely the BOJ will sooner or later follow that way. So I don't think the central bankers are leaving us under any sort of fog of uncertainty. Right. It's really elections and hard Brexit in Italy and what happens in the U.S. midterms, and now this new Turkey, Saudi Arabia, U.S. dynamic. Those things are far difficult to gauge through.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.